Hi, I'm Matt, and welcome to the recording of the live webinar held on the 2nd of May 2014. This is the webinar that you would have seen in your My Messages section on eBay and also in the seller updates email from eBay too. Before we dive in, this video is over an hour long and you should watch this webinar recording if you want to sell on eBay using Magento, use or want to use the eBay endorsed and subsidized extension called M2E Pro, if you want to be able to manage your inventory, your eBay listings and orders from a single piece of software. If you want to grow your online and eBay business using the automation tools that the big businesses use, saving you time, effort and money. Or if you want access to inexpensive multi-channel software or would just like to know why you should sell on eBay. It should also be noted that the purpose of this webinar is to share with you a proof of concept, and as such we assume no prior history to using Magento or M2E Pro. You will see us install Magento Live, create a product, add in the M2E Pro extension, list a product live onto eBay, purchase the product, and then process the order in Magento and then see it being updated live on eBay. Now, M2E Pro has been around since 2009 and it's the only endorsed and subsidized extension for Magento. You can use this extension for free and other marketplaces are supported too. M2E Pro is used by thousands of business owners just like you across the globe. So that's an inventory management and stock control system and also an order management system, not only for your website orders through Magento, but also eBay too. M2E Pro gives you the ability to create, list, revise and manage eBay listings and also for you to process your orders within Magento. Magento Community Edition is available for free, and as noted, the M2E Pro extension is subsidized by eBay, which we believe is set to continue for the next 2.5 years. There were over 200 questions asked live in this webinar, and every single one of them has been personally replied to. All of the questions that were asked, and along with the replies to, you can view them at understandinge.com/eBay-Magento-webinar-recording. And again, I'll pop the link underneath this video for you as well. If you have any questions which were not covered, then please just use the comments box below and myself or Dave will get back to you personally. So with that said, let's dive in and see what we can do with Magento, M2E Pro and eBay. Let's do it. Okay, today's agenda, Dave. What are we going to be covering with you?
So firstly, we're going to have an introduction as to what we're going to cover in this webinar and cover a couple of housekeeping points. And then we're going to jump right in, starting from the beginning. We're going to install Magento from scratch, show you how easy that actually is. We're then going to give you a quick tour around Magento for the first time and look at the sort of 3 main areas that we're going to be dealing with in this webinar. We're going to create our first product in Magento. And once that's complete, we're going to head over to something called Magento Connect and install the M2E Pro extension. Now, if you're not sure about a couple of those terms, don't worry, we'll cover those once we get there. And then we're going to do the following the M2E Pro setup wizard. It's a dead easy wizard where we enter all the details that we need to sync up our eBay account. And then we're going to list that first product that we created onto eBay. Once it's listed, we're then going to buy the item live on eBay.
Yeah,
hopefully everything will go right.
Yeah, no, we do have backup plans in place, so we've come in fully prepared. Now, if we can't get the brand new version of Magento to work, and the reason for that is because we do have the eBay ID, which we're going to be using live, set up on another M2E Pro account. So if we do run into any problems, we're going to jump to another system because we're doing this live. And you wouldn't have this problem or this challenge because you would just do it on one eBay account and it would only ever be integrated into one Magento system. And then Dave, my favorite bit at the end.
Well, that's it. The live Q&A session.
Yeah.
Once we've been and bought the product, showed you it in Magento, processed the order, we're then going to open it up to... There's now over 500 people on this call. So please, like I said, drop your questions in the chat box. I'll do my best to keep track of them. But me and Matt are quite flexible. We will be here for as long as we can at the end to answer questions. But if everyone answered one question, we'd be here a while.
Yeah.
We'll do our best.
All right, so we're going to do our utmost to help you. Now, let's just start off with some very brief introductions. Now, my name's Matt. Many of you probably already know me. And if we've not been and met before, it's fantastic to meet you. Just to give a quick bit of history to me, I was one of the first power sellers in the UK. I've worked for two multi-channel software companies and helped businesses like Tesco and Office Shoes launch onto eBay UK. I'm also a father of two, and I love Fridays almost, I say almost, as much as I love coffee. And Dave, what have you been up to?
Well, Matt, I first came into e-commerce probably about over 5 years ago. I started with a small independent retailer up here in Manchester. When I joined, they were doing primarily auctions on eBay to use it as like a clearance site. And by the time that I'd left, we were then an enterprise account on eBay, turning over more than £1 million a year on the platform. We were also a full service provider, which meant that we were managing the accounts for people like Richer Sounds and T-File on eBay. I then left the company, went and worked for a fashion company for 6 months, in which time period I quadrupled their turnover. I then became a independent consultant or a marketplace consultant for about a year before me and Matt teamed together to co-found Understanding E.
Yeah, and we're both co-founders of understandinge.com, and that's that funny little logo down there in the bottom right-hand corner. Now, just a house rule. Now, we run a coffee morning every Tuesday, and we only have one house rule, which is that there is no such thing as a daft question if you don't know the answer. Now, I'm an extremely curious person, so please don't be afraid to ask something which you may feel is being obvious. We will do our utmost to answer any questions which you have, and again, we'll give you the most honest answers which we can to you. So that leads us on to actually getting this webinar kicked off. Now, the first question is, why sell on eBay? Now, there are going to be 3 types of person or people, or you, which are listening to this webinar. Now, number 1, you already sell on eBay and you're looking for some software to help you and your business. The second group is that you already have Magento and you want to sell on eBay. And finally, you probably already use Magento and M2E Pro, or have come along to support myself, Matt, and Dave. Now, the eBay representative wasn't able to join us for this webinar, but we would have, just guessing at this, you would have probably seen like a minimum of 5 slides on why you should sell onto eBay. And we think we can summarize it into a single slide, don't we, Dave?
We do. And instead of just one reason, there's 145 million reasons why you should be selling on eBay. Just this week, on Tuesday or Wednesday, in eBay's webcast, some of you may have been in there, they announced that they had 145 million customers globally. Can you imagine? Let's just think about 145 million for a second. They also said that an item sells on their mobile every second. Now that's
nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy. Can you imagine trying to build a website up to that audience? It would be nigh on impossible. If not, it would take you a hell of a long time.
That's right. The reach of eBay is just unreal. And it's not just the UK, it's just not Europe, and it's not just Australia, it's the United States, it's across the globe. Now, there's a really important note here about eBay, which is that eBay is not a social networking site. So this isn't Facebook, this isn't Twitter, where it's the best way of explaining these kind of social networks is the pub. You go to see your friends or your family, have a drink, have a chat, and see how everybody's getting on. Now, with eBay, it's fundamentally different. Somebody has gone to eBay with a sole intention. to buy a product. And don't underestimate that the buyers which are on eBay are there and they are loaded with a credit card or a PayPal account, and they have the ability to pay and buy from you and your business.
Now let's just put that into perspective, Matt. We did a little bit of maths as a bit of fun to put things into perspective yesterday. So 145 million people, that's just over 1,600 Wembley stadiums full of customers with credit card details.
Okay, now I've just picked up a couple of comments from the chat box in the bottom left-hand corner. Now, I'm just going to jump back to an earlier slide to help a couple of people who can't actually hear this webinar. So it's slide number 2. So I'm just going to jump back to number 2. Now, we're going to carry on with the subject of eBay for a few moments. Now, I would like to call eBay buyers as credit card warriors because they do have the ability to make that purchase and pay for that purchase right now, right there and then. Now, we've got one question for you. So for those of you that already sell on eBay, can you help the people out in group number 2, the ones which have already got a Magento website or are looking to sell on eBay? Can you let us roughly know how many orders each month that you take on eBay for your business? So can you just let us know in the chat box in the left hand side, and we'll read some of the numbers out for those who have not yet started selling on eBay, and we'll give those counts back. And I think that's probably the nicest way for you to get involved and to help those other people out as well. So I'm just going to jump across.
Yeah,
Whoa, so that's moving quickly.
Yeah, we've had 1,400, 2,000 to 3,000, 200, 60, 500, 2,000.
Yeah, 1,500.
50.
Yeah. That was a lot of orders in there. Yeah. I've just seen Alex's message in there. There's 5,100, 130 to 30, 2,000. Basically, you're already busy on the marketplaces. And again, if you just if you're looking to sell on eBay, these are real numbers which we can see flowing for our screen here on the right hand side. And again, roughly from Alistair, 8,000 a month, Chris, 1,200, Jag, 250, Mike, 600. The potential in the eBay marketplace is absolutely insane. So what I'm going to do, I'm assuming that those which have not got their audio set up have now got it being set up, and we'll jump back to where we were, which was slide number 10. Okay, so if you want a reason why you should sell on eBay, those numbers were those for real business owners just like you, and that's the kind of number of orders which they're getting on eBay every single month. And from eBay's point of view, 145 million reasons why, and that's the latest information from eBay. So moving on, Dave, installing Magento. Now, I know that for many of you, this may sound scary, but the reality is that it's really dead easy to do. Now, there is one thing which you need for Magento, and that is quality web hosting. And we're going to be using a company called Simple Servers throughout this webinar. And they're a specialist company, hosting company in the United Kingdom who specialize in Magento web hosting. Now, $2 or $5.99 a month web hosting is just not going to cut it for Magento. Magento is a little bit of a beast, okay, and specialized packages start at £16 per month. Now, remember that value of £16 a month, because we're going to come back to that at the end. Now, unlike second generation multi-channel software providers, which can cost literally hundreds or thousands of pounds a month. Now, this approach is a build your own approach. So if you want better web hosting, you get better web hosting. Now, Dave, while I'm just sorting this out in the background, can you just give us a quick brief overview or like history to Magento while I'm just getting these screens sorted out?
Yeah, sure. So Magento actually first started development as like a website system platform, if you will, and it had its first beta release at the end of August in 2007. Now, what Magento very quickly realized was that they needed a product or a service of sorts to sort of monetize the platform. And that's when in 2009 they released what is now called Magento Enterprise. And this is targeted at the big guys. This is like the Nike, the Christian Louboutin, Tom's, the really big global brands. If they're using Magento, they'll be using Magento Enterprise. Now, in 2010, the company was originally called Varian, and they would change their name to Magento. And then secretly, in the same year of 2010, eBay took a 49% stake in Magento, and this wasn't actually announced until February 2011. Then about 6 months later, in June of 2011, eBay bought the remainder of the Magento stock and now own it outright. It's all part of the eBay Inc. company. Mm-hmm. And the latest figures that we saw is that up to today, Magento is now powering over 26% of the top 1 million e-commerce websites. And that is now by far outstripping all of the other e-commerce platforms out there.
That's right. So I've been and got the screen open here in the background. Now, we've got a hosting account with Simple Servers, and this is something called cPanel. Now, Dave, you're the non-techie here. Can you just give us a quick overview to cPanel and how it makes it easy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for those people who don't know me, I am really non-nerdy, geeky. You know, I wouldn't know a PHP if I fell over it. And so I don't know MySQL. I don't know server speak. And when I first set up my own website a few years ago, I had cPanel, and it just made everything so easy. These little icons that we can see on the screen just make everything plain English. You can pick what you want, and I'd learned how to set up, install WordPress, do redirects, set up email accounts, which was just made so much easier by cPanel.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That's right. Now, within cPanel, now we are going to go a little bit quickly here because we are on a time frame here. Now, just a quick note for Karen here in the background. Yes, we will be making this webinar available on YouTube, and once we've got the recording edited, it will be live on YouTube on Monday or Tuesday of next week for you. Okay, so there is a tool called Installatron. Now, Installatron is super handy. Now, we've got 2 demo systems set up in the background. Now, normally, if you've just taken web hosting off the shelf, you won't see those 2 demo systems. And what we're going to do, we're going to go to the Applications Browser tab. Now, in that box, I'm just going to type in Magento. And Dave, can you just count the clicks for me? Okay.
Yep, sure.
And this is how many clicks it's going to take you to install Magento onto your web hosting. Now, like we said, we're doing this live. We're starting from scratch with you in this webinar. So we're going to go and click to install this application. So that was 1 click, yeah? So, and again, I prefer no www within my domain names. Now, we're not going to put a directory in. Now, if I just scroll down, there is a note here, which is that there's 2 options. You can either install Magento with demo data, and that's fantastic if you didn't have me, Dave, or any of the tutorials over on Understanding E. But you're special because you do have access to this, and we are going to go a little bit quickly in this whole webinar, but don't panic. We do have step-by-step tutorials to show you how, literally from the beginning to the end. Now, we're going to choose the option, give me a clean Magento install, and we'll add in our own content. So what's that, 3 clicks so far, Dave?
That's 3 so far.
Okay. Now, what I am going to do is put in a username, like so. Now, I am going to go and change that password off on a different screen because we are doing this live. Now, I don't want any cheeky fellas or girls to go off and tinker with the Magento system in the background, so I will be taking this off our screen, and all I'm going to be doing is changing the administrator password in here, and then I'm going to be clicking the install button in the bottom right hand corner. So I am going to do that live right now. So let me change that tab over there, and like so, and click install, which I've just been and done. Okay, now we did say we're going to be doing this live, and this is Magento being installed. Now, it will take a few moments to go through. Okay, and yeah, just reading Robert's comment down there in the bottom right hand corner. Some people think Magento is scary. It's just a scary of the being afraid of the unknown. It's really straightforward. It's just different. Now, that's it. Magento has been installed. So if I go to the domain name 02mag.co.uk, and there we go. That is Magento installed live. Okay, and there's another link here which is to our admin as well. So I'm just going to open that up, and I'm just going to take that onto a different screen and just go and log in. There we go. And I've just been and logged in. I am going to clear off those two messages. I'm not going to explain what they are right now. The reason being is that we do cover what these are with you in the tutorial. So let me come back to the dashboard and hit reload. There we go. And welcome to Magento. Now, this is the dashboard. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you like the mini tour of Magento, because this is the kind of tool which I wish I had when I first started using Magento. Now, Dave, this dashboard doesn't look very exciting at the moment, does it?
No, it doesn't, but it does get a lot better. As soon as you start getting your orders in, people start working your website, all of a sudden you get this fantastic data in front of you. There'll be a graph shown on that right-hand side, and that's really cool to show you, the direction that the business is heading in.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So you'll be able to see your number of sales, the average orders, your best sellers, the top customers, and also in this big blank patch on the right hand side, you'll also be able to see a chart of the of your sales over a period of time as well. Now, there's a couple of key sections which we've got available. So the first one is that if we go to sales and orders, now this doesn't look very exciting at the moment because we don't have any orders in our system, but this is where your orders are going to appear. So this would be orders from eBay, your website, or any of the other marketplaces as well. The next section is in catalog and then manage products. And this is where you're going to create your inventory within Magento. So that will be where you create your products. You can see your stock numbers, the quantities, and everything else about your inventory in this screen. Now, there is one other section as well, which I'm going to point out, which is in system and configuration. And this is where all the user settings are held within Magento. So let me just expand a couple of these out. This is how you can set Magento and its location. So you can set it to be in the UK or France or any of the other locations in the world. And now, instead of going through all these settings with you and boring the living daylights out with you, what we've been and done is that we've been and pre-made a system in the background and changed all the settings to the United Kingdom. So if we have a look on this dashboard here, you'll see that everything's in dollars and this entire site has been set up for the United States. Now, that's not what we want. We want Magento set up for the United Kingdom, and rather than spending 10 minutes with you showing you all the basic settings, we're not going to do that because we want to get onto the cool stuff. So we have been in and pre-installed Magento into another system, and it was just like what we did here with a couple of tweaks in there as well. And there we go. So the first thing which you'll notice is that we're now in pound sterling. Now, that will give you an indication that Magento does support multiple currencies. Okay. Now, Dave, what have we got next up which we need to cover? Is it installing our first product?
We're going to create our first product map.
Okay. Now, we've been highly original and we've been picked a toaster. And I'm afraid to say that it was either a toaster or a children's lawnmower. On there, we chose the more professional option, which was a toaster, because I'm sure that all of you can easily relate to a toaster, and that's what we're going to go and create in Magento right now. So I just need to get to the right section on a different screen and get our Magento system back up. So to create your very first product in Magento is really, really easy to do. So we do that up at catalog and manage products. And just a quick note here, it will be this product which we will be creating and selling onto eBay. Again, assuming everything goes well, again, this is live. We will be listing this product onto eBay. Now, I've actually already created that in the background, so I'm just going to delete that one like so. And let's go and click on add a product in the top right hand corner. Now, we are going to just show you how to create a simple product in Magento. And what that means is that it's a product without any variations. Now, if you're in one of the clothing categories, for example, or if you sell products which come in variations like size and color or size and color, then Magento does support those type of products, and they're called configurable products. But again, we are on a time frame here, and we need to get to the finished goal, which is actually getting an item onto eBay from scratch, and that's what we're going to be focusing upon. So we're not going to be covering that with you in this webinar, but we do have them in the tutorials on understandinge.com. Now, we need to put a couple of details in, so I am just borrowing some information from another screen. So we need a SKU, so that's your stock number. We also have a website title. Now, for the Magento website owners, this screen is going to look slightly different for you. Excuse me. So you probably don't have eBay title, eBay subtitle, all these bullet points, and you probably got your short description on this page as well. And the reason why you don't have that, and we do, is because in the tutorials on Understanding E is that we take you through why we do this. Okay, so Dave, while I'm just filling out some of these fields, can you just explain why do we have bullet points on here?
Yeah, so we recommend bullet points for a simple reason. Studies have shown that a customer on eBay or any other marketplace or your website has an attention span of landing on your product page for between 5 to 10 seconds. Now, if that's Matt, that's a lot less. So you've probably got about 2 to 3 seconds to get Matt's attention. And the reality is that if you have, 2 or 3 big paragraphs in your description, they're not going to sit there and read through it. So what bullet points do is it'll give you the ability to put the key features and benefits of your products right in front of the customer, and so they can skim read. Is this product for me? You can either qualify them in or out very quickly, and that's what we want to do. And that's the reason why we recommend using bullet points and show you how to set those up in Magento to use on eBay.
That's right. I've just seen some comments in there and in the chat in the chat box down there. Can you see my screen a little bit better now? Just there were some comments on there not being it was being too small and you couldn't see what was going on. I'm just going to flip back to exit full screen. Can use full screen? A little bit lose that. Okay, so that's better. All right. Okay, right. I'm going to put it to full screen. That does mean that I cannot see your comments. So apologies. When I've got it in full screen, I can't see your comments. Okay. Now, the reason, as I've just seen a few messages there quickly going through there in the background, is that, yes, there's a very good reason why there's 5 bullet points, is because with Magento, it's going to look fantastic on your website. It's going to work really well on eBay as well. And of course, the other marketplaces, and you know which marketplace that is. So let's just scroll down a touch. And in the description field, now I do have a product description. So if I click on the WYSIWYG editor, now this is a HTML editor which is built in to Magento. Now that does mean that you can put stuff in bold if you want to, and underline stuff as well. All kind of bread and butter WYSIWYG editor or HTML editor stuff. So if I now click on submit, excuse me, and you'll be able to see that we've got paragraph tags in there. We've also got the strong tag as well, but you don't need to know HTML to use Magento and to put your descriptions in. You can use that editor. Now, we're also going to set a tax class as well. Now, just a quick note on taxes. Again, we're on a time frame here, so we're going to skim over the taxes, but you can set Magento up to have European VAT, UK VAT, American, and we've got tutorial even for Australian VAT as well. Now, Dave, we've got a CSV import file for that, haven't we? Something like 86, 87 options?
We do. I think it's 86 because it has something like 3 settings for every European country and then Jersey and Guernsey as well. So yeah, it saves you a lot of time, that import.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So we've been to put some basic details in. We've also been to put a weight in there. Now, excuse me, the toaster apparently is 3.2 kilos. So we're going to assume our system, all the weights which we're putting in is in grams. So we put 3,200 in there. Now, we do also need to add some images to our product. So let me go and click on Browse Files. And ta-da, we just so happen to have some toaster images ready. And then we click on Open. Now, Dave, how many times have I forgotten to do this? It is unreal.
We've recorded guides before now, and we've had to go and redo them because Matt's forgot this one step.
Yeah, that's right. So once you browse and add the product images, now we are using a toaster. So if you were selling a TV or a keyboard or a dress, that's how you would upload your images into Magento. But they're not going to upload to Magento until you press the Upload Files button on the right-hand side. Now, you'll notice the images haven't appeared. Now, the reason for that is Magento is optimized for speed, not only in the front end, which is the website which the customer can see, but also in the admin panel as well. And if the admin was to load up all the images, and again, you can have pretty much unlimited images within Magento, that would slow down the page load time. But if you just hover on the images like so, then they'll appear. And it's that image there which I want to use on eBay, so it'll be that one there, which is the main image. So I'm just clicking those options. And one other thing which we need to do is click on the inventory tab on the left hand side and give this product some stock. So we're going to give that a quantity of 2, and we're going to change the stock availability to in stock. And while I'm at it, again, we have done some homework here in the background, so we do have, and we have been and added a category called toasters, and again we've got a tutorial to show you how to do that as well. So once we've been and made those changes, before you go and press save, actually you might just go back up to general. Now the price field's got an asterisk next to it, so it's a required field. So if I try and save this product, Magento won't let you save the product until all the required fields have been entered. So I've been and popped that back in to our system, and there we go. There's our first product. We can see the name of the product, its type, the stock number, its price, its quantity, and whether it's visible on the website, and also enabled. Now, also the status is enabled. Now, a quick note here is that when we install M2E Pro in a few moments' time, is that you can, by disabling a product, that item could then, depending upon your policy settings in M2E Pro, take that item off eBay or the other marketplaces, all from this one screen. So, Dave, how are we doing for timekeeping?
Well, we're about halfway in, Matt.
Okay, so I need to take this off full screen so I can go and grab my notes here in the background. So next up, we've got M2E Pro. Okay, so we're really curious, how many of you have heard of M2E Pro before? Okay, do you use M2E Pro, or have you ever heard of it? Do you actually use it? Can you just okay. All right, most of you have heard of it, some of you haven't. Okay, so
sure.
Right, M2E Pro is an extension for Magento. And Dave, can you just explain what an extension is? And John Stringer down there says it rocks.
Great, yeah, okay. We totally agree. Okay, an extension in Magento is pretty much what it says. It's basically a piece of software which extends the basic functionality of Magento. And Magento, as you'll see in a minute, has a collection or like a library of extensions called Magento Connect. Mm-hmm. And that is where we're going to show you in a minute. But there's thousands of extensions available. M2E Pro is just one of them. And as you've probably guessed, the functionality that M2E adds on is the ability to list to eBay.
That's right. Now, the M2E Pro extension has been around for a while. Okay. Now, Dave, sorry, I've lost myself in the notes. Again, we are recording this live. Now, there's literally thousands of extensions available for you. Now, M2E Pro was first created in 2009. And Doug, yes, we will be covering costs at the end of this webinar. And again, any questions, which you have, we will be answering them live, and as many of them as we can at the end of this webinar for you. Okay. And so M2E Pro was first created into August 2009, and let's be fair, that was 5 years ago, and it probably wasn't that great. Now, other marketplaces were added in 2012, and M2E Pro's had over 6 major updates and over 50 major revisions. Now, a quick note for that, literally 1 week ago, there was a major update to M2E Pro, and again, if you want to know more about that, then if you go to understandinge.com/blog, look for the M2E Pro logo, which you can see on our screen right now, and you can find out there's all the updates which were included. And again, hat tip to the M2E Pro team. They did let us know what was going to be up in that update, so we could let you know as well. Now, M2E Pro has been downloaded over 50,000 times, and it's been used by some of the largest and, crucially, some of the smallest eBay businesses out there. Now, there is a partner agreement which has been signed between eBay and M2E Pro to provide the M2E Pro extension free of charge, and that's been in place for the last 2.5 years. Now, to the best of our knowledge, then it's also in place for the minimum of the next 2.5 years as well. Now, again, we know that they work closely with the eBay UK team here, right in the United Kingdom as well. Now, let's go and grab that link over there, and let's go and have a look at M2E Pro. And I need to grab that one there. So let's open that up in a new tab. Okay, so I've been jumped across to Magento Connect, and I'll put this back onto full screen for you as well. So Dave, if I can leave you to answer any questions in the background.
Doing my best, sir, doing my best.
Okay, so we come across to Magento Connect, and Magento Connect is just like the online library for all the Magento extensions, and we can see that this extension has got a popularity score of 53,104. So that's the amount of times that people have gone and to go and install this extension. So it's well used and well abused. Okay. Now, we do need a key from Magento Connect so that we can install this in our system. Now, there is a platform note here, and I did see a question a few moments ago. Now, there are 3 different flavors of Magento. There's Magento Go, which is the hosted solution. Now, we don't recommend that you use Magento Go, and the reason for that is that it's too restrictive. Okay, unlike Community and Enterprise, there's only like a dozen extensions available for Magento Go, whereas Community and Enterprise, that's where the biggest amount of extensions are available for you and your business. And what we installed with you a few moments ago was the Magento Community Edition. Now, the Enterprise Edition, as Dave noted earlier, that's the big expensive one. Okay, most of you, well, probably 99.9% of you probably cannot afford the Enterprise Edition. And again, Community Edition is just so good now. So let's choose Community and let's click Install. And again, I'm just not going to explain what these options are. But the thing is that what we need is that key there. Okay, so let's just jump across to our Magento system, which is that one there. And I'm going to go to System, Connect, and Magento Connect Manager. And again, I am skipping over a lot of the fluff with this as well. I'm just getting straight into the meat of this webinar for you. So to install an extension, this is the Magento Connect Manager. You can not only add extensions to your Magento website from this page, you can also update extensions. You can also update Magento as well. So let's go and click on Install and click on Proceed. Now, this will take a few moments to go through. And again, we are doing this live with you. Brilliant. That's the M2E Pro extension installed. Now, I need to jump back to the admin. And there's a couple of things which I need to do to get the extension working. Number one, I'm just going to make sure all the caches are cleared. Like so.
Quick question, Matt.
Yeah, go for it.
Does Magento work with Linux?
Yeah, I would strongly suggest that you use Linux-based web hosting. And also Linux, depends which, let me get this right. If you mean Linux as an operating system to host your website on, Yes, and I would strongly suggest that you do pick a version of Unix, CentOS, Red Hat, whatever that for your web hosting. Now, on the flip side, if you're using Linux as your desktop operating system, Magento is web-based, so it doesn't matter. You can use Magento on your mobile phone if you want to. It's a web browser in short. So whatever you could use it on your TV. For example, if you've got a web browser installed on your TV, don't guarantee that works, but you could use Magento on there. It's just the only requirement here is a web browser. Okay, so brilliant question. I hope I've been and answered the two potential answers to that for you as well. Okay, now after installing an extension, we do need to log out and log back in again. So I've just been and done that. Now, at the top of this screen, there's two new tabs. You've got Sell on eBay and Sell on multi-channels. Now, we're not going to do the multi-channels piece. We're only going to focus upon eBay. Now, if there's something which is going to go wrong, it's going to go wrong right now. Okay, so if we do have to dive off to another Magento install, which we've got set up, we may have to do that. Again, we are doing this live with you. Okay, so we're going to click Sell on eBay, and what we need to do is to register to use M2E Pro and also attach our eBay account to M2E Pro and Magento. So I'm just going to pop some details in here as well. So I'm Matt Ogborn, by the way, and I live in a fantastic city, which run the best city of the entire United Kingdom. Now, I am going to make up a postcode, so don't hold me against that one. Like so.
I've never been to Manchester.
No comments, I have. And click on confirm. Now, need to put some basic details in. Obviously, you would put real details in there with a correct postcode and email address, etc., etc. Now, we do need to attach our eBay account to M2E Pro and Magento. Now, we do that using a token system, okay? And that means that M2E Pro will never, ever see your password. And if you change your password, you don't need to redo the link back into M2E Pro as well. It's all done on a token system in the background, and it's extremely well documented by eBay. In fact, eBay have like one of the best documented developer APIs or application programming interface in the nerdy bit in the background. And M2E Pro is really deeply linked in to eBay. So let's go and do that. And you would do this for real with your eBay account. So we're going to click sign into eBay. We'll be transferred across to eBay. Let me go and sign in. This is fun to see if it works. Ace. Okay. And of course, you would read the rest of the agreements and then click on I agree, and we'll be transferred back to our Magento website. Like so, and that will take a few moments. Now, we're actually going to choose the advanced method. Okay, and the reason why we want to show you the advanced method is because we want to show you something called profiles or policies. Okay, and that may be new to you if you're not used to using multi-channel software and you're used to just like using something like TurboLister or the Sell Your Item form. You're just gonna have a field day with these kind of options. So anyway, let me go and click continue. Okay, and input orders, feedback, no. And again, I'm just skimming over these to get straight in, and I'm going to click continue. Okay, now this is where we're going to create policies, or think of them as templates. So every time, just imagine right now you're not using any software to sell onto eBay, and you go to list a brand new product onto eBay. You have to go to the Sell Your Item form. Excuse me, you have to fill out the information every single time which you list. Now, with M2E Pro is that you can create profiles or templates, and what that means is that you can reuse the same information over and over again. So we're just using a toaster, but we know that you've got tens, hundreds, or even maybe thousands of products. And these profiles or policies are just going to save you so much time. Now, it's this kind of level of flexibility which will cost you a fortune in second generation multi-channel tools. Now, we are going to go quite quickly through these. So I'm just going to click on next step. Now, there is a little video tutorial to take you through these different pieces. Now, this is M2E Pro doing a live update to the eBay website to bring the information through. Okay, and next up we need to put some payment information in here. So Matt at last drop of ink of Inc.co.uk. If I can type, welcome to the world of my spelling. Okay, and we can save that as a policy. In fact, let me just go and do that. So payment policy, like so. And I've been to save that as a policy, so every time you list a new product, you don't have to fill that information out again. So imagine that one section on the sell your item form on eBay, don't have to do it again. Okay, now we do need to pop some basic, we need to be able to put a city or postcode in. So this, what was it, BS99XX. I'm going to pop that in there. Now we do need to add a shipping method. So let's choose Royal Mail 48. And again, Dave, in the webinar yesterday, on Tuesday, eBay was still saying that offering a free method on eBay is still one of the best ways of getting sales, didn't they?
Yeah, totally. It's one of those. Customers still love the concept of free shipping. Even if there's a bit of kidology in there, yeah.
Free shipping. You really are paying for it. Okay. Now, we've been to set this up for the United Kingdom. Now, if you are in the United States or in Germany, number one, you can change the language settings for Magento so it can all be in German for you. But we're set up for the UK. That's why we've got UK options in here. Now, I'm just going to choose Other Courier 24, and we could put a custom value of, say, $4.99 for our courier. Now, for those advanced users which are listening to this and know Magento really well, or maybe you prefer to manage your inventory in Excel, for example, then you can use a custom Magento attribute. So remember those bullet points which we saw earlier, that you could have one in there called courier cost, and you could set this up as a profile, but that's going to take us way off topic, so I'm just going to leave that as $4.99, and I'm just going to quickly scan down the other details which I need to put in here. And again, the returns policy, you can save each of these sections as a policy, but for right now, for speed, I'm just going to go and click next in the top right hand corner. And then scrolling down, we can then choose the listing format. So I want fixed priced. I want to change that to good till cancelled. Now I am skimming over some of these settings just for ease of use. And let me scroll down, product price, strike through pricing. Oh, if you do have strike through pricing, that was not in the last update, that was in the previous update to M2E Pro. Now that is you do have to be authorized by eBay to have that. So if you're a larger eBay business, now strike through pricing is enabled in M2E Pro. And let me just scroll down. Oh, there was a gallery image back up here at the top somewhere. I'm being daft. Okay. Right, so down here, default base image, gallery, up to 11, supersize, use watermark. No. Oh, by the way, M2E Pro can watermark your images for you. Now, onto the topic of the description. Now, you could just use that description which we pasted into Magento a few moments ago, or what we're going to do, we're going to go and choose a custom description. So for those of you which have bespoke or customized eBay listing templates, is that this is where you would enter your HTML code for your listings. Now, for the advanced users, the M2E Pro comes with lots of really cool keywords or macros or variables, as you may need to know them. But in this case, we're just going to keep it really simple. Now, we've been and created a tool called, which is an eBay listing template builder, and I just need to grab that on a different window, like so. On there now, I'm just going to pop the details in. And again, this is free for you to use. You do need an account on Understanding E, which is free for you to register. You can choose your template and your details. Now, I do actually quite like the minimal style for this one. I'm just going to leave all the settings as default, and I'm going to go and click on create my eBay template, and there's our code. Now, this does come with instructions, and there's a 4-part video course which you can follow this through on. Okay, but in our case, that I've just made a customized eBay template ad hoc, and I'm going to paste the HTML in there. And then scrolling down again, you could set the EAN or the EP ID or product reference ID, or if you're selling books, you could put the ISBN in there as well. And the gallery type, I think it's just gallery picture, which I need to choose. And now I'm going to hit next step. Okay, and again, I do know that we are going really quickly. Now, there's lots of help available. There's a great big help section in here, and we do take you through step by step at a much slower rate on the understanding your website. So apologies if we're going a little bit quick. The reason being is just to show you proof of concept that this really does work, and you can nail it. You can go from zero to getting a product up onto eBay within 60 minutes from no previous knowledge. Now, I'm just going to quickly check those, and yeah, that looks fine. I'm going to go and click on next. There we go. So congratulations, you've successfully created your first M2E Pro listing, and we're on our way for our first items appearing on eBay. Now, we are doing this live, so we don't know if we've got anything wrong, and we'll soon find out in a few moments. Now, this is what you would be doing. So imagine you've already been through this setup wizard, and you've got items or lots and lots of products in your Magento system, and you want to add them onto eBay. Now, this is what you would do. You would go to a listing group within Magento, and then grab this product picker. So let's go and click continue, and let's go and find that toaster which we had a few moments ago. So I'm choosing that toaster, and then I'm going to click continue. Okay, start configure, and rules for auto add and deletion products, global, click continue. Right, I'm just going to leave that as no action. Again, I'm just skipping over a few of these pieces. No, skip it. There we go. Now, this is where we can choose the category on where we want the item to appear on eBay. Now, Dave, don't suppose you've got that category path to hand by any chance, have you, sir?
I do. So you're going home furniture and DIY.
Well, you're too fast to slow down. Right, home furniture and DIY. Yep.
Then it's appliances.
Appliances at the top. And these are the eBay categories, which are on the eBay site. And sorry, which section we need to go?
Small kitchen appliances.
Yeah.
Toaster.
Toasters. Haha, there you go. And then click done. Now, you could choose the category picker like this. You could set them up as profiles based upon your Magento categories. But again, we're just keeping this real and doing one by one. Now, you can also set your eBay store category. Now, a quick note here is that you don't need an eBay store to use Magento and M2E Pro. We just so happen that we've been and got one set up, and that's going in the magnets category. And those are my store categories, which I've got set up on the OSOU eBay ID. And of course, you can create up to 300 of those categories for your own use, or you could use perhaps again for the advanced users, use a Magento attribute. So if we now click on continue, and let me just move that chat help box. Dave, should we make some of these? What type of toaster is this?
Okay, so it's a...
It looks like a toaster.
Standard toaster.
Standard brand.
It's Russell Hobbs.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Nice. Model, custom value. There's the model number.
Number of slices, 4.
Number of slices. Oh, yes, please. I need 4. Like so.
It's silver.
Recommended values. Have they got silver in here? Yes. Or perhaps they didn't have the main color, for example, is that you could choose custom value. Or again, for the advanced users, you could have created a Magento attribute and chosen the field from there. But I tell you what, let's leave it there, that we've filled out some basic details. And now we're going to go and click continue, like so. And we're going to list those items right now. Like we said, we are going to do this live. This might go Pete Tong, okay? We are about to find out if this works or not. So this will take a few moments to go through. Again, that's perfectly normal. And again, normally this would just happen in the background as well. And again, there's nothing quite like doing it live to see if she works or not, like so. And hey, she works. Sweet. Right. Okay. No, sorry. Don't take my surprise as oh my god, this actually worked. That was my surprise that I'd managed to get all the settings in very, very quickly to show you. Okay, and in the video tutorials, we do take you step by step, and I fudged over a few parts just to try and get to this stage. Now, our item is live on eBay. Now, you can imagine within it, we've only got one product, but you could have lots of products. You could have tens, hundreds, or thousands of products in here, and there is these extra search options in here, so you can find your items really, really quickly. Now, let's go and click on that item ID. Now, Dave, I'm gonna send that across to you. Now, if you are watching this live, okay, please do not buy this item because your personal details will be shown on the screen to literally over 500 people. So do not buy this item. Dave, can you go and purchase one in the background for me, please?
Doing it now, mate. Doing it now.
Okay, so what we've got up on our screen, so we've got, I'm just going to highlight these bits on my screen. We've got the title, we've got the images, which we had a few moments. There's our price as well. Okay, there's our item specifics, number of slices, 4, the main color was silver, our model number. There's our bullet points. Remember those bullet points when we were entering them back in Magento? And, oh, Dave, while you're buying it a moment, I'm just going to be really cheeky just to show you like a really cool feature about M2E Pro and Magento.
Order's done.
Oh, happy days, sir. Right, I've just been and changed a bullet point to howdy, this is live, okay? So I'm just going to save that in Magento. Now, normally, that would just kick off in the background, and depending upon the settings which you've got within M2E Pro, is that could have kicked off and it will just update automatically in the background. But what we're going to go and do, we're going to force that through live. Now, I am just skipping over a few of these sections for speed. I'm going to tick that item on the left. I'm going to choose revise items and then hit submit. And again, M2E Pro would do this automatically in the background for you, again, depending upon your settings. Now, if I go over here, just that line there, just to prove that this really is live, I'm going to open up another tab, go to that item, scroll down, and there we go. Howdy, this is live. Now, I can tell you, but most of you know this story actually, the pain which I went through of having to manually revise items. What this basically means is that you can update your product information in Magento and it will then kick through live onto eBay. Okay, again, the fields which you're allowed to edit. Okay, let me just stress that. You can't swap the listing type, for example, because that's not allowed by eBay. But updating the product description is perfectly allowed. And again, there's a light box for the main image. Again, that's for the template, which was provided for free. We can see the other related items. And again, these are just junk items which we've been listing onto eBay. And here's our listing template. Now, Dave, you've purchased that item yet?
I have. That should now. That's gone through fine, yeah.
Okay, now this is the moment of truth. I don't know if this is going to appear, but let me see if we can. Again, we're doing this live, and let's try and run in the order synchronization. We don't know if this is going to work. If it doesn't appear in here, it will be in another one of our Magento installs. So, ooh, it looks like it might be running. All right, happy days. Sales and orders. Ha! There we go. Phew. Right. Okay. So there's a test order in there from last night, which that's the 199 one. Okay. But there is the real order. Okay. So let me just go back. So just to calm it down from my excitement, is that if we go to sales and then orders within Magento, there's our order screen. So when we first saw it, it didn't look very exciting. Okay. But now it does. Those two orders, which are in our Magento system, they have been and come from eBay. Okay, so the latest one, which was a few moments ago for $29.99, that happened live with you just a few moments ago. Dave went and purchased that item. Okay, so let's click into this order. Okay, and we can see that when the order was collected, the store view, the email address, and that would be your customer's email address and username in there. Okay, you would see your details on here, so the billing address. We've then got their payment information, like so, and that's the PayPal transaction ID. And if I clicked onto that link, it would take me or you, if this was your system and your order, to to PayPal, so that you could make any amendments there. And again, you can see the eBay fee, which has come through, the PayPal fee as well. We can also see the line items within the order as well. Now, Dave, why don't we go and ship this order as well?
Yeah, shows how we do that.
Okay, so all I've done at the top, I clicked on the ship button. I'm going to add some tracking information in. So Royal Mail. No, I was going to type something else. RG 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0, like so. There's our tracking number, and now I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and click submit shipment. Again, we're doing this on a one-by-one basis, but now there are extensions available which will show you how, or will enable you to do this in bulk. So you're not just doing it one by one. You can not only process just one order if you want to, you could do 10 orders or 100 orders, and there's 2 extensions which we recommend, which will show you, or will help you print large amounts of orders, so large amounts of website, other sales channels, and eBay orders from your Magento system. Now, Dave, I need to go and sign into eBay on another tab to see if we can see that updated.
That's right.
I'm just going to sign out of that account, and I can't remember the username and password. Let me just go and grab. Again, we are just to stress we're doing this live. It's up in my notes at the top. M2, there we go. I see it. There we go. So I've just been signed in as Understanding E onto eBay. Now, a quick note here: we're using the live eBay site. We're not using the sandbox, we're using the live eBay site. And again, because that's the truest reflection of what would happen with you, your eBay account in your business. And again, we don't use the sandbox because we'd rather show you the real thing in there. Now, we updated that information a few moments ago. There's our tracking number. So this is me logged in as your customer. And M2E Pro in the background has gone back to eBay and told me, as the buyer, or Dave, because he was the person who bought it, that this order has now been shipped. And you can see that little shipped icon over there on the right hand side, and it was dispatched today. And you can see the tracking number of the order as well. Okay. Right, I'm just going to pause there for a moment, Dave, because I need to get my screen back.
No worries, I'm doing my best to keep up with the questions here. Sorry if I've missed any. My fingers are aching.
Mm-hmm. So by the sounds of it, Dave's done an absolutely amazing job here in the background. Apologies that I've not been able to answer any of them personally. We will do, and I will do, in a few moments' time in the Q&A section at the end. And I'm just trying to find the slide deck. Sorry, I work from 3 screens and I've lost the slide deck on one of them. Okay. So before we go any further, we want to say thank you. And we both genuinely mean that. And that is that thank you for your time which you've given us this afternoon. Okay, we really do appreciate it. Okay, now before we go any further, we only had 60 minutes. Okay, we only had 60 minutes to show you proof of concept, and we did it with live information. That was live. We couldn't have faked any of that. You saw us change it. That's how quick it can be. We did skim over a few areas. Okay, now with the tutorials on the Understanding E site, that you can pause, you can rewind, you can wander off to the bathroom, you can do what I do, which is go and make another cup of coffee at any point in time. So we just want to stress that is that we did go a little bit quick. Now, we did learn an awful lot together in this one. Now, Dave, what did we learn in this webinar?
Well, what did we learn? That was a quick 60 minutes, if there is such a thing. So we learned that Magento is relatively easy to install. You know, it was 5 clicks, as we saw using Installatron on cPanel. We then saw that the one thing that we do need with Magento, it's free to download, but we do need decent web hosting. We can't run it on £2 a month web hosting, £5 a month web hosting. We recommend simple servers over on, I think that starts about £16 a month. And also, if you do use Understanding E, you do get a month for free with those guys as well. Bonus.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw that Magento isn't actually scary to use. It's just maybe laid out different to what you're used to. And we showed you the dashboard. We looked at where sales and orders are kept. We created our first product in Magento. We introduced extensions in Magento Connect, and we showed you from start to finish how to install M2E Pro. We had to get the key, the extension key, clear the caches. It all worked fine, which I'm so happy about.
Yeah, I'm amazed that everything actually works. We had backup plans in place for this.
And quickly, we created the eBay listing using M2E Pro. We set up policies in the setup wizard. Matt then showed us how we actually revise an item live. He said, "Howdy, this is live" as the first bullet point. Mm-hmm. We then I went and made an order. I went and paid for the toaster. I hope it arrives quick. And, and then we showed you how to process the order in Magento.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So we did go a bit quick, and apologies for that. Again, we did this live. We did this best to our abilities in here. Now, there's a few points worth noting. Okay, and these are really, really important notes. Now, number one, Magento is open source. That means that you have access to the source code to Magento, and there are literally thousands of extensions available, and M2E Pro is just one of these extensions. And in this case, it's really cool because it allows you to list, create, revise, and collect orders from eBay and the other marketplaces. Now, another couple of key points is that you can create as many users as you need to at no extra cost. And Magento comes with this role-based user access system, which I'm not going to bore you with. You. Basically, it's cool. That's the best way of explaining it. And there is no percentage of sell. And basically, if you want a faster website or faster system or website, you just upgrade your web hosting. It's kind of like straightforward as that. And another key note here as well, you're not alone. Okay. Now, we're really proud to announce from today that there is a community of over 1,000 business owners just like you, which are around on Understanding E, which can give you help. And it's not just myself, it's not just Dave and our team in the background. There's over 1,000 business owners just like you over on Understanding E. Now, I do know that cost came up a couple of times here in the background. Now, we're going to give you a rough overview, okay, of cost for a year. Okay, now there's a great big question mark around this because this is a generation of pick and choose. Okay, the only thing which you do need, okay, is Magento web hosting. So back at the beginning, we mentioned £16. Okay, so we're doing this prices for a year. Okay, so 16 times 11. Okay, because you do get 1 month free. We got a special note on that in a few moments. Is £176. Okay. If you do want there's two extensions which we strongly recommend, and they cost $200, so that's about £120. Okay, they are optional. Remember, this is a key point here. The only thing that you really need is at the top, the Magento web hosting. And you've seen how quick that is to get Magento and M2E Pro installed, and again, M2E Pro is subsidized by eBay, so it's available for free. If you want the RawML DMO, so that's Dispatch Manager Online extension, okay, that's £149 one-time cost. Now, if you only use PPI, you don't need that extension. If you use Interlink or Parserforce, another courier, it's the same price. So it's from a Bristol-based company who are specialists in extensions for shipping in Magento. You have the Understanding E Premium membership, and we've written that down as optional. Okay, that's for a year. Okay, if you want to build a mobile optimized responsive Magento website, then there is a theme which costs £99, so best part of £60. That's the next course which we're going to be publishing on Understanding E. Okay, now that comes in. So if you did have everything on that menu, okay, it comes in at £685. Now we know the numbers in the background. Okay, so it's pick and choose. You know, you pick and choose what you want. If you don't want something, you don't need it. Okay. Now these numbers are 30% less minimum, I hasten to add, to the nearest multi-channel software out there on the internet. Okay, which can do what Magento and M2E Pro can do. Okay. Now, if you break this down on a per month basis, about £57 a month for the first year. Of course, the second year is less because you don't have those one-off costs within your business. You can have a Magento and a mobile optimized website for literally $99. That's how much the theme costs, and that's the next tutorials or next course which we're working on right now. If you want accounts integrated, now there's two options for this. You could there's a free extension. Number one, there's a free extension which you can manually import into Sage. Okay, or you could bend it in Excel to go into another piece of accounting software. Or there's a company called Carry the One. And for £20 a month, then you can have that it will take your orders from Magento. Remember, those orders would be eBay, your other marketplaces, your Magento website, and it would automatically post it into Sage, Xero, Cashflow, and whoever else automatically for you in the background. Or you could use something like Tradebox. This thing is back to point number one. You pick and choose what you need. If you want extra, you go and buy it. It's your system. If you don't, you're not paying for somebody else to use part of a piece of software which you don't need, and you don't have to maintain that. So this is a whole generation of type there, choice. If you've liked what you've seen today, you can try Magento and M2E Pro for free. Okay, we work with a company called Simple Servers in the UK, and the first month's worth of web hosting is free. Okay, you need to use a discount code called Understanding E, and all the base tutorials on the Understanding E website to use Magento and M2E Pro are also free. Okay, if you go to understandinge.com/join, just follow the tutorials and you can get yourself set in. Now, I will be around all of this weekend. Okay, if you need a hand, we are around. Okay, well, I'm around. Dave's got a personal engagement, so he won't be around this weekend. I will be, so if you've got any questions, just ask us in the forums or ask us in any of the chat boxes below the lessons or the video tutorials, and we'll do our utmost to get back to you. Now,
a quick note there as well, Matt. Is like if you think we've been going too quick, I know we ran through that. We had to cover so much in 60 minutes. If we lost you at any point, please go over to understanding.com, free to join, and you can at least then get a taste of the normal speed in which we will show you, and you can go through them at your own speed. Apologies if we lost you. It was always sort of inevitable because we had to just run through some of the things there. Mm-hmm. But on Understanding it's not like this. We don't run through it. We do it step by step.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, this is your chance. Please ask any questions in here. We're going to do our best to answer all of your questions to the best of our abilities. Okay. We will be doing our best. Okay. Now, we will stay here as long as we can. Okay. And if we run out of time, okay, you can find myself, Matt, and of course Dave too, over in the forums at understandinge.com/forums, and we will do our utmost to get back to you. I do work in a date order, so older messages come first in my inbox, and that's how I tackle them. Okay, and let me just scroll down.
Okay, I'm going to kick off with a couple of questions that I first started noting down early on, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
This was from James. He said, M2E Pro, he doesn't like Magento Connect. Can he do a manual install of M2E Pro?
You'll need to ask M2E Pro is the answer to that.
Yeah, I've not seen those files available for download anywhere, not on the website.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay. Just a quickie one there from Nikki Lynch. Will we be notified when there's a recording become available? Okay. Yes, there will be a recording, and we will let you know via email. We will send you one email from us. Okay, when that video is ready, you're not, and again, we will put you into an email marketing tool, but we will send you one email and then delete you afterwards. Okay, you're not on any mailing list. We're only going to contact you after this webinar to let you know the link to the YouTube video of this webinar. Okay, now Dave, you've also included some extra options in there as well, haven't you?
Some extra,
questions.
Oh, yeah, sorry. There was some extra questions. Mark asks, can M2E Pro run 2 eBay accounts?
Categorically, yes, it can do. Okay. And you can go on.
I was just going to say, yeah, it's as easy as that. You just basically set up a new account in the M2E Pro setup.
Mm-hmm. I've just seen a quick question in there from Liz. We already download eBay orders to our ERP system, but would like to use Magento for listing products only. Is this possible? The answer, yes. Yes, it is, Liz. Okay.
We have one from Elaine. I'm currently about to go with Volusion. How is Magento different, and why should I use Magento instead?
Fantastic.
That's an in-depth question.
Right. Okay. So Volution, brilliant tool. Now, I'm not your consultant for this, so it's only going to be a very brief answer to this question, which is basically down to flexibility. Okay. Magento is extremely flexible. So instead of choosing everything off that long Excel spreadsheet menu, which you would have been sent by their team, most of that stuff is already built into Magento out of the box. And if you did want anything else on add into it, there's that library of extensions available for which you can just get off the shelf. Again, some extensions are free and some are paid for. They do vary in quality. But I hope that kind of answers your question. It comes down to price and flexibility, I think. Okay.
Next question, Matt. We have, is Magento SEO and then in speech marks Google friendly? And that's from Karen.
Yeah, it is. Now, the biggest, it's always been the challenge with e-commerce websites that a lot of the information is being repeated on there. If we pick on the title, which is probably one of the key attributes on your website, then you have full control over that. That was one of the tabs back in Magento. So you can have a different title to the product name, which you've got in there. You've got meta description. I'm not going to mention meta tags because they're almost irrelevant now. And there are plenty of SEO extensions out there which are available for you as well.
Okay, question from Lauren was, does Magento and M2E manage refunds for eBay?
Oh, that's a good one. At this present moment of time, I believe they do. Okay. If not, we saw that there was a link on the sell page when we look at the order, and you can manually send it back. Okay. I honestly don't know the answer to that. So I'm going to answer it twice. Once is that if it does, when you cancel the order, it should go back. If it doesn't, it does not do it to PayPal automatically from Dell. Thank you for that, Dell. Yeah, you'll need to make the PayPal refund manually, but you do have the link on the order, which we saw a few moments ago, to actually send it through. Okay, and go to PayPal and make that refund. Okay.
So the next question, Matt, is basically international. Can we sell on eBay fr.de and do the translations like Web Interpret do?
Not the translations, but you can support the multiple sites. Let me just show you something in the configuration settings within M2E Pro, which is that we only have the United Kingdom enabled, but the top 23 major eBay sites are supported. It does get into a little bit of fun around different store views and stuff. We don't have a tutorial right now for you, okay? But it is 100% possible, okay? Now, I've just seen Wendy's question on there. Dave, what was that question?
2 seconds, scrolling up.
Scrolling up.
eBay, someone commented. eBay multi-listings, does M2E support it?
Yes. So multi-listing. So I presume this is variation listings onto eBay. Categorically, yes. Okay. We have a 4-part course on the Understanding Your website, which is available for free. Okay. Hasten to add, you do need to be registered. Okay. And we'll take you through that step because you do need to know about some other things in Magento, namely attributes, configurable attributes and attribute sets. But we've got plenty of examples in there, and you will be able to do not only single variation, but also multi-variation listings as well. So, Hector, if you need to leg it, please do leave. We're just doing our best to answer any questions which you've got on there. Okay, will we get seller ratings onto Google by Julie? Okay, that seller ratings are only available to certain parties. Okay, so if you're using a third-party tool such as maybe FIFO, for example, the answer is yes. Doug's question, does Magento have an autoresponder ability? Depends. Again, I'm looking at this from different angles. Autoresponder, not necessarily no, but you can customize the emails which your customers receive out of Magento. And of course, you can also stop emails going to the other marketplace, beginning with A, as well, so you don't get trouble with that marketplace beginning with A. That's me being very diplomatic. So you can customize that, and there is a tutorial available for that as well. Sarah, thank you ever so much for joining us. Okay.
Matt, quick one here is, can I have different prices for my products on the website than the products on eBay?
Categorically, yes. If you go to YouTube and type in Understanding E in the playlist for the forums questions, you can do that. And we set that up for auction prices, but you can have multiple different currencies within Magento. Remember, right back at the beginning, we saw that with the site which we installed was in dollars. We swapped it into pound sterling, so you can have multiple currencies. There's a couple of different ways you could do it. Personal suggestion for me, which would be to manually have separate fields, separate attributes, or separate price fields in Magento. It will just make your life so much easier to do, rather than worrying about auto conversions and between the exchange prices, for example. Okay, Justine, I'm really glad to hear that on there. Now,
we had another question, Matt. Someone saying, can we use Magento with another website? So I'm guessing a website not on Magento.
Right. Okay. Here's the really curious thing. Right. We want to use Magento in our case to sell onto eBay and the other marketplaces. If you don't want to use Magento for the website side, you don't have to. What we are really like, the main interest with Magento is that it's inventory and order management systems and its stock control, which are all tied in, and the extension called M2E Pro, so that you can list onto the marketplaces. If you don't want to use Magento to build a website, you don't need to do it. Now, if you want to integrate another website system, that does feel a little bit awkward, but I could understand why you might want to do that. Okay. The answer is technically yes. Magento has a fantastic, well-documented API, and you could get a developer to join those two systems together. I don't know which the other website is, but it is possible. Okay, go on, Dave.
Matt, a question that we've had multiple times, and I've done my best to feed it, but I think it needs to come from you, is, can I export my eBay listings and import them into Magento?
Okay, I'm just leaning back a touch. The answer is yes, you can do. The moment I finish a tool called Export My Listings, it will go to eBay. It will export all your eBay listing data for the last 45 days or so. It will chew it. It takes a while, especially if you've got several thousand listings. It will store it into a database, and it will spit it out into a format, in a CSV format, which you can then import into Magento. Now, you will need to know about a tool called MagMe. Again, we have video tutorials on that as well, but it should be an almost, in inverted commas, almost direct import into Magento. Okay, it will need your attention in that file to sort it out. Okay.
Fantastic. Right, Doug, fantastic question. Should we in the USA not use the web hosting in the UK?
Absolutely. Okay, so wherever you are in the world, best thing to do is choose localized web hosting. Okay, so Doug, if you're in the United States, we would recommend a company called Simple Helix. Now, I spent the best part about 2 weeks trying to find a decent or comparable company to Simple Servers, and it took me ages. Okay, like we were, again, just from a business point of view, we were being offered like $90 referral fees for a certain company which begins with B, and the thing is, I couldn't recommend it to you because it just wasn't up to scratch. Now, the thing is, Simple Helix, $20 a month, really straightforward, really fast, and we've used it ourselves. And I've also hammered the living daylights out of it as well, so I know they're up to scratch. So if you're in the United States, you want to use a company called Simple Helix, okay, for United States web hosting, okay. If you're in the UK or Europe, that would be Simple Servers. And if you're in Australia, NetAccess, and there's a couple of companies which are based over there, but generally in Australia, it's a little bit more expensive. So Doug, happy days. I think I've answered your question there. Okay. Dave, any more questions?
Sharon's asked, is there a... Oh, it's disappeared again. Is there... I think it was, is there an upgrade option for couriers, I believe?
Okay, well, right, on the topic of couriers, is that if you just do a general answer to that one, if I may, which
An
is
express delivery upgrade for couriers.
if that's onto eBay, the answer would be yes. Any of the options which you see in the eBay interface will be in M2E Pro. Okay, that is in there. All right, so if you can see the option on eBay, then it will be in M2E Pro. Remember that drop-down box which we saw earlier. Okay.
If we import current eBay listings, will it retain the seller history?
Yes, because you can match them across. It is a little bit tricky. Let's be very open and honest here with you. It can be a little bit tricky to make sure they match. And again, this is why we're still working on the Export My Listings tool, so that we know the data is right, which we got it from eBay, and they should then match. It's multi-variation listings, which are the tricky one. And that's regardless of whatever software you're using. Any third-party software to eBay will always have challenges trying to get those to match. Can M2E Pro import existing eBay listings into Magento? Yes, it does, Alex, but it's not great, and I would strongly suggest you use Export My Listings, because you get more control over what's imported. The stuff which M2E Pro does import is not at the quality what I would expect as me as being you as a business owner. Okay. Any more questions, Dave?
Is there a pre-pricer like many use on that other site beginning with A?
Mm-hmm. Okay. No. Well, we believe that M2E Pro have got that on their roadmap to do. Personally, I would suggest a company called Channel Max, and again, I know people have mixed reviews of that. I've always found it highly comprehensive and works really well. There's another company called Feedvisor, quite expensive, but one of the businesses which I work with, and I can tell you that they categorically do account for 1,500 to 2,000 extra orders per week because they use that tool. Now, that is slightly amplified because they're very aggressive, and also none of their competitors have any form of repricing software. So that is a slightly distorted view, but you can hook up external repricing software to Magento and M2E Pro.
Herschel, I think we did cover that question a little earlier on. Yes, we can have different prices for different channels, and we can manipulate prices during an upload using CSV.
Okay, just quickly answer Phil's question. Does Magento retain historical changes to products and prices for an audit trail? Double whammy on that one. Okay, yes, it will do, depending upon your log settings for M2E Pro. There is actually a really cool extension. I need to get a tutorial on this one for Dave. It's a free extension, and it will record the stock changes and any changes which have been made on a product. Okay, and also there's an extension for Magento. It's a paid for one. I think it's about $130 or so, which will also record all the admin options. So whatever you or your member of staff does in Magento, it will record those options as well. So I hope that's answered your question there as well. Okay.
Wendy, can the Magento products and the eBay products share the barcode/GTIN number?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, if you were selling on that other marketplace, again, I'm just being loyal here to eBay and give them respect for being able to set this up today with you, is that yes, you can do. Now, if that ASIN field, for example, you could set that up as a separate attribute. If you've got the same product with different ASINs, for example, then you could create maybe another SKU and match them up that way. You could build a bundle. There's a couple of different ways you can do it, but the answer to your question is yes, you can do. And again, if it depends how deep you're going. How far you want to go down the rabbit hole? The short answer is yes. All right.
What have we got? Nice question there for you from John, Matt.
Yeah, I've just read that one. I would have loved to have got it live this week. I've just been caught up with preparing for this webinar. So there's one last page for me to do, which is the exports page, and then we're ready to go. It won't have much documentation with it. John, if you want to contact me in the forums, I will be looking for some test users to run it live with. Okay, so again, apologies for not being able to do it.
Okay, Sharon asks, can Magento integrate with courier software and automatically print labels and update tracking across all of the selling platforms?
Okay, Sharon, let me break that into two parts for you. Okay, the first answer is yes. Can it integrate with courier software? Okay, so we mentioned the Royal Mail DMO extension. So you've got Royal Mail, Interlink, Parcelforce, DPD, and Interlink. That's kind of the same company. You could also use something like MetaPack, for example. Okay, now the automatic printing of the labels, you will so if you mark that something's printed, then you will get your label to come out and it will print it out. Again, that's just needs definition. Do you mean that something like it's just going to automatically spill all the documentation out on the printer? You would need to get some development work done for that. If you wanted it done so that you just go and pick a batch of 20 or 30 orders, for example, and you want to print all the labels out in one go, yes, those extensions from Mad Capsule, Bristol-based company, will be able to do that for you. Okay, and there was one last part to that question, which is update tracking across all selling forms platforms. Yes. So if you update the tracking information for a Magento order and put that in like what I showed you a few moments ago, then that will appear on the customer's My Account page on your Magento website. We saw that work live on eBay, and that's the kind of similar information which would come across on the other marketplaces as well. Okay, Sean, what was the company in Bristol? It's called Mad Capsule. Okay, so MADCAP LSE. I think I've spelled that wrong. You spelled it right.
It's on the bottom there.
Yeah, the chaps there which you want to speak to is either a really cool chap called Mark or his main developer called James. Two really, really nice guys. I've met Mark. Really cool guy. Again, just let him know that the Matt and Dave from Understanding E sent him your way. And again, if you do say that to him, he should be able to offer you the setup for free.
Okay, Matt, quick one from Simon. How do I not need the RMDMO extension if I'm only using PPI?
The reason being is that you could just manually enter the information into RMDMO, because if you're using PPI, you want the labels on the front. So you want the first class label, you want the second class label to be printed out. So you could maybe just use the order management extensions so you get the labels to come out on your orders. So when you print them out, it's got the first class PPI logo. Okay. And then when you're packing your orders, you chuck them in 2 sacks. So if we just do 24 and 48, you chuck them in the 2 sacks and then you weigh them and you count them at the end. Okay, and that's the information which you enter manually in DMO. Where the extension would come in really handy for you is that if you're using tracked, if you have a lot of tracked Royal Mail orders, then that's where I would say go and get the DMO extension for Royal Mail, because that's just going to save you so much time. No more time typing it in or fiddling around with imports, which you can do, I hasten to add. If you only got a small number of tracked every day, then you can get away without the extension. Personally, I know what the pain is there of sitting in front of the Parcelforce website and typing in the address details. It's horrific. It's not the best use of your time. So 150 quid, complete bargain. Okay. Does it give you a postal receipt? This is the main reason why we use DMO. Maria, I don't know the answer to that question. Mark from Mad Capsule will be able to help you. I would assume that the answer is yes. Okay. And Simon, yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, it's the volume. Okay, if you're doing high volume, pay the money. 150 quid. Again, this is all about perspective. Okay, if you need that, you would benefit from it, you choose it. If you don't need it, you don't have to have it. Again, it's perspective. It could be really expensive to you. On the flip side, it could be a complete bargain. Okay, especially if you take £150 and divide it by 12, it's just over a tenner per month in there.
Okay, Matt, a question from Sharon. Can my Zencart websites be easily converted to Magento?
The answer to that is no. Okay, but it's not impossible. Okay, so let's pick a few parts of this apart for you. So Sharon, I'm trying to do my best to answer any questions live and ad hoc as we go. Okay. So let's think about this logically. We need product data. So you should be able to export your products from Zencart. You will need to tweak that file to get it into Magento. Okay. Let's think about customers for a moment. Tricky one, because I don't know what kind of volume of customers an order history which you've had. Okay. Probably what I would suggest is just keep the old website running in an old domain on really cheap hosting, and you can jump back there to do it. Okay, the main priority would be the product information. Now, as far as the look and feel for your Zencart websites, I don't know that's kind of like asking how long is a piece of string. Okay, that's a bit of a tricky one. We suggest a theme called Ultimo, really flexible. If you are serious about migrating from Zencart to Magento, I would probably suggest it might be a great time for you to reconsider maybe building a mobile optimized site. Again, it's all part of a responsive website as part in using Ultimo for that. So it's a little bit vague, I'm afraid, Sharon, the answer, but it is one of those questions, how long is a piece of string for it? Diane, thank you for your time this afternoon. Really appreciate it. And same to you as well, Alex. Dave, is there any other questions which we've missed?
I don't have any written down. So again, any questions remaining? Now's your time. I'm sure there's some that we may have missed.
Yeah, I'm sure I've missed a few. No. Okay, when's the next one? It took us a week to prepare for this one. We do have a coffee morning every Tuesday morning. Okay, it's live. We pick a topic and we run with it live there and then. So you can catch it 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. There's normally a banner at the top of the website, and you can go through. Yes, Sharon. Okay, or just look on the Understanding E site in the forums, or just search for Ultimo over there. Yeah, brilliant theme. Used it myself, and it's really flexible. Okay, and we are working on an entire course to show you how to build a Magento website, a responsive Magento website with zero coding. Okay, that's quite a challenge. Okay, and the reason why we can do that with zero coding is because the Ultimo theme is just so easy to set up and for anybody to use. Okay, Rob, I'm just reading your message in there. I'm selling on Amazon. Can it import products from Amazon to Magento and then post to eBay? No. Okay, so let me answer that yes and no. Okay, you can run an export from Amazon. Okay, and that will give you your SKU, quantity, price, merchant SKU, okay, and condition. Okay, that's all you're officially allowed to take out of Amazon. Okay, if you were trying to do what I know what you're doing, okay, all right, you would probably want to have an external script which got that information from eBay and then populated it into Magento for you. That's the route which I would go. There's a PHP class, okay, called PHP Scrappy, extremely flexible, and it won't be very expensive. If I kind of know what you're doing. Okay, I'd probably set a budget of maybe like $50 and get a third-party developer to do it for you. Nice and straightforward. Okay.
Question, Matt, from Shah. Do you think an ERP is necessary in Magento to replace something like eSeller Pro or Limworks?
Oh, good question. Okay, really depends on your size. Okay, like the question. Would you argue that those two pieces of software are ERP? Okay, depends what you need for your business. Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me show you the story of how I found Magento and M2E Pro. Okay, it's probably the easiest way to answer that. Is that one of my friends came to me last March and they wanted me to help them start a business on eBay and Amazon. Now, eSeller Pro wasn't an option, and neither was Channel Advisor, just far too expensive for what we needed to do. So we used the other alternative, which I think you mentioned. Okay, but the thing is that I and this other chap was spoiled by what we were used to in eSeller Pro. 3 weeks in, it just wasn't working out. Some of the crazy stuff, which again, it's not that software's fault. It's not them. It's really good. Okay, but we were spoiled, and that's how I found Magento and M2E Pro, and we looked at it seriously, and we got 61,152 products. Sorry, it's ingrained in my head how many products we did, and we got it into Magento, and it worked really, really well on eBay, and we of course got Amazon in there as well. Now, there are features within these pieces of software which are not available out of the box with Magento. So for example, if you just want straightforward stock locations, okay, you can set Magento up for a single location, and that will come out and get spit out onto your invoices using ShipEasy. Okay. If you want a full-blown ERP system, now there is an extension called Magento ERP. We did look at this last year. It's quite, well, sorry. Again, it's all about perception, okay? Which side, whereabouts you are in the world, okay? So if you're only selling like 100 items a month, 590 euros would be really expensive. But if you're spending several £1,000s a month on third-party software, 590 euros is really cheap. So it's all about perception and where you stood, okay? So yes, it can replace those kind of systems on there, but it depends on what you really need, okay? And does that actually need to be running Magento? Yeah, so I kind of answering your question. I hope I've done the best I can for you. Okay, Rob, thank you ever so much. Sorry, Dave.
Question from Stamp Design.
Mm-hmm.
The template that you integrated into the eBay description, is it responsive?
Okay, great question. That one is not. That layout was actually kind of borrowed from Argos because I love their layout so much. It will resize downwards. However, there is a little tricky challenge which we've got right at the moment. We do have a responsive theme for premium members. We are upgrading that to Bootstrap, which will be responsive onto the mobile devices, okay, but it will never be a replacement for a professionally designed professionally designed eBay template. Okay, that's as far as we're going. We're going to get you a template tool so at least your listings look great. But if you do want a custom designed or custom designed eBay store, we're not going to go there. Okay, it's just there to help you get started. Literally copy and paste code. Your listings can look great and we'll get you off to a fantastic start. Before we wrap up, and my coffee cup, I've been here drinking cold coffee. Okay, I'm going to run away and grab a fresh cup of coffee. If you're already, so just for Maria's question, Dave, do you want to just read that one out?
Yes, if you already have a design store, can this be imported into M2E Pro?
The answer is there is no need to do that. So your eBay store is separate from your eBay listings and your listing data. Okay, the eBay listings are yes, they can be imported. That's the export my listings tool which we mentioned earlier. In fact, you're going to probably spend a while chopping out your previous listing template from that. Okay, so I hope that's been in help. And Jane, thank you ever so much for joining us and for your support. Really, really appreciated. So if anybody has any other questions, you can find us at understandinge.com/join. Okay, remember that one house rule. There's no such thing as a daft question. We will always try to do our best to answer any questions you may have as honestly and openly as we can. Again, I'd love to say that I have all the answers, but I'd be lying to you if I did. Okay, we don't, but we...
He only knows most of them.
I only know most of them. All right. So thank you ever so much for joining us this afternoon. We both really do appreciate your support, okay, and thank you ever so much. And Dave, thank you for your help as well. It's been amazing.
Always a pleasure. And again, yes, just want to reiterate, thank you to everyone for joining us. Thank you to eBay for putting us in their email. That was great as well. And hope you all at least found it interesting. And we hope you have a great bank holiday weekend.
Indeed. Thank you ever so much. Have a brilliant weekend. Cheerios. Hi, it's Matt here, and if you've been and got this far, thank you. Thank you for listening to this recording, and if you attended, of course, thank you for joining us on the live event. It would help us greatly if you press the like button on YouTube, either above this video or below the video, or even share it with any friends or colleagues. And of course, if you've got any questions about Magento, M2E Pro or eBay, then you can find myself, Matt, and of course Dave too, over on understandinge.com. So from myself, thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Cheerios!